Good evening from New York. It is a concept so elemental to American capitalism that any child who's played Monopoly can understand it. The competition necessary for free trade prohibits, by necessity, abusive behavior by any one firm or group of firms, namely fixing prices, rigging bids, or otherwise colluding to dominate and control the market. That's why this country has antitrust laws. But if it seems to you that the health insurance industry has been allowed to behave outside those antitrust laws, that's because it has for the past 64 years. Our fifth story in the countdown, the insurance cartel. It's not a nickname, it's a real cartel. It has finally occurred to the Senate that it might be the right time to do something about that. The Judiciary Committee today turning its attention to the McCarran-Ferguson Act, which has, since 1945, allowed insurance companies to dominate the market and reap enormous profits. That, according to today's witnesses to the Judiciary Committee. Last month, Chairman Leahy, along with 7 co-sponsors, having introduced the Health Insurance Industry Antitrust Enforcement Act of 2009. It would repeal the antitrust exemption for the health insurance industry. The cartel itself today claiming that the antitrust exemption allows it to keep costs down, which might be a better argument if the industry did keep costs down. Senator Schumer of New York among the many not buying that.
I remain committed to the notion that only increased competition is going to give insurers the incentive they need to keep the costs down. Removing the insurance company's antitrust exemption is so important that I think we should all work with Chairman Leahy to make sure that it is part of our health reform bill.
Meanwhile, the cart that's been put before the horse, the health care reform bill that does not actually reform the insurance industry. Majority Leader Reid today gathering the group that will merge the Senate health bills in his office for its first meeting. Among them, Finance Chairman Baucus, HELP Committee Chairman Dodd, and White House Chief of Staff Emanuel. A spokesman for Senator Reid confirming that Senator Snowe would be invited to future sessions, adding that the Majority Leader was prepared to go to substantial lengths to keep the support of the Republican from Maine. Senator Reid already setting expectations fairly low for the final product that is to be delivered from those meetings, as well as for his ability to deliver votes. The Majority Leader pushing back against progressives who want him to force conservative members of his party to vote with their party on the public option. Public option, something that 77% of the public wants, something for which 51 senators, a majority, are prepared to vote. The Majority Leader's office saying in a statement, quote, Senator Reid is focused on crafting a health care bill that will overcome a Republican filibuster. Stripping Democratic senators of their leadership titles is a decision that would be left up to the caucus, not Senator Reid. In light of this reality, it's unlikely that the caucus would ever go along with this idea. Then again, it is his job to make them go along. That is why it's called the leadership position. Not that we even know who they are. Senator Reid allowing any Democratic senators now threatening to filibuster or not to block a filibuster to remain anonymous, a so-called silent filibuster of Democrats. Lots to talk about tonight, thus, with Florida Congressman and Internet sensation Alan Grayson. Congressman, thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks, Keith. The Republicans say I sound just like you. I can't figure out if they're trying to insult me or insult you.
I'm happier to have that assessment than any other. Unlike almost any other private business in this country, health insurance companies are allowed to engage in what can only be described as price fixing. Do you think it might be time to change that? Is it time to strip that antitrust exemption?
It's long overdue. We should do it right now.
Could you use it in some way? Is it better left it's partially intact? Would it be a good wedge against the insurance companies?
No, the insurance companies bought and paid for that favor from Congress, and now we need to take it back.
Senator Snowe cast one vote in favor of the Baucus bill just to get it out of committee. Her vote was not needed to get it out of committee. She warns that she might vote no on the same material later on, and she gets a seat at the bill merger table, if not at the initial meetings and at the subsequent ones. What's your reaction to that?
Her vote is coming at too expensive a price. The public option would save America over $100 billion. The employer mandate, just making large corporations that have no conscience pay for their employees the way 80% already do, that would save over $200 billion. Isn't that a lot of money to pay for her vote?
And presumably there's not enough space at that table because only one senator who will be there is in favor of the public option. That's Mr. Dodd of Connecticut. No progressive members, truly progressive, self-identifying progressive members will be represented. Why do you think Democrats in the Senate seem to have dismissed or abandoned the public plan, the public option, without even really trying for it?
I don't think the Democrats have. I think the leadership is letting them down. The leadership is placating Republicans and ideologues at the price of what's in the public interest.
There's a statement tonight from Senator Reid, Senator Baucus, Senator Dodd after these health insurance reform discussions today. It's mostly boilerplate, but there was one line that's telling in its boilerplateness. There was strong consensus that crafting a bill that can garner 60 votes is an attainable goal. Is that the problem? Is it being looked at entirely within many elements of our government as a political issue? How many votes can we get for this, rather than an urgent sort of crisis, ultra-critical health care problem?
That's the problem. Nobody in America cares about 60 votes. People in America care about saving lives and saving money. That's what we should be concentrating on.
Your floor speeches have outlined quite eloquently, I think, how the Republican opposition is, in fact, the problem in health care reform. Are the Democrats in the Senate part of that problem, just as bad? Where do they rank? I don't mean for you to throw them all under the bus.
They have to find the courage of their convictions, or we have to find it for them. You know, for months now, it's like the Billy Idol song, we've been dancing with ourselves. Now, let's just get on with it. Let's get the best bill we can. If the Republicans want to make it clear to the public they don't want better health care for America, that's fine. The public will remember that.
So how do you do it? How do you get them to dance?
Well, look, the Democrats now have 60 votes in the Senate. It's not that complicated. Get it over with. Vote.
But there's so many Democrats who are almost as beholden as Republican senators and many Republican congressmen to the insurance lobby. What do we do about the pervasive influence in terms of campaign funds that have afflicted some of these smaller state senators, even then on the Democratic side?
Well, we need campaign finance reform, but right now we need people to call, we need people to send emails, we need people to go to websites, we need people to insist on justice for the public, and that means comprehensive, universal, and affordable health care in America.
For some reason, Stephen Douglas's words come to mind here. Not Stephen Douglas's, Frederick Douglass's words come to mind here. Agitate, agitate, agitate.
Right. That's right.
Congressman Alan Grayson of Florida, who contributed to that cause, and greatly so. Thank you for that, and thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you very much, Keith.
Thank you.